everybody, and I mean everybody, has switched up on Arne Slot and Liverpool ever since they've been knocked out the Carabao Cup, losing the final, of course, and knocked out the Champions League. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Even Liverpool fans themselves have said they're not good. So we're going to be looking into that. We're also going to be looking into Tottenham set to sack Ange Postecoglou and the possible candidates that Tottenham have lined up. Before I begin, if you are new here, please hit the subscribe and like as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. So let us start here. And this is a Liverpool fan speaking. Let's just have a listen to what he says. Maybe it'll probably be fair on Slot's first season. Let's have a listen.
I don't think Liverpool have been that good this season. I just think everyone else has been absolutely horrible. I think that Gravenberch, he's improved, but a lot of people are overhyping him. I hear Rory hype Luis Diaz all the time. He hasn't been that good either. A lot of our players, it's just been Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk carrying the entire team
This guy's spot on.
all season.
Spot on.
Like,
And you're a Liverpool fan, yeah?
Yeah, I am. I'm just saying next season, if we don't address it like DM, I still think it's a problem. We still need a 6. Because Gravenberch, he's great, but I still think he's just an 8.
I cannot believe it. Yes, you can look at the Liverpool squad and identify areas for improvement. But the idea now that everyone is jumping on to say Liverpool aren't good, team that had only until last week lost 2 games to Plymouth and, of course, to Nottingham Forest and to, of course, PSV. Plymouth and PSV don't count. So effectively, the main Liverpool team had only lost 1 game. 1 game until last week. And now people are thinking this is the opportunity to jump on. This is a Liverpool fan, by the way, himself coming onto the call and saying this stuff. It shocked me. It really, really did. The fact that Gravenberch hasn't been that good. One of the most underrated performances. Right now, Gravenberch is in my team of the season. The best midfielder in the league. The way he's played under Slot has been ridiculous. McAllister has been absolutely unreal. You're looking at Konate, he's been class as well. Gakpo, up to the injury he's only just had, he was absolutely phenomenal. And the main guy on the left, with Luis Diaz doing some nice stuff in the centre forward role, with a bit of Jota in there, Nunes clutch goals against Brentford. Yes, Liverpool fans can be frustrated. Yes, they can see improvement is needed, otherwise they'll fall away. But the fact that they can't even sort of compliment their team and other rival fans are agreeing with opinions like this completely shocked me. Nobody saw what Arne Slot was going to do this season. Nobody saw this coming. And you know what? I want you guys to listen to a prediction I did on this channel actually 7 months ago. My season predictions in pre-season. Let's have a listen to what I say. Quite weird, but yeah, in effect, I am going to be reacting to myself. Sort of running and third place, I'm gonna go with Arne Slot's Liverpool. I feel like they've been playing brilliant football in pre-season. He's just got the firepower. Van Dijk stays as expected, Salah as well. They're just gonna be that sort of team. They'll probably flirt again with the top spots for quite a while with City and Arsenal, but I don't feel like they're gonna have enough to go the full way. I do feel like they'll go unbeaten at Anfield, though. I do feel like it's gonna shock us how good Liverpool are just after the Klopp, leaving. But like Slot is really underrated, and he'll get Liverpool a nice 3rd place finish like last season, and an exciting season for the rebuild for the Liverpool fans. But I'd love to say I'm a genius to say Liverpool fans will enjoy this rebuild under Slot, but even me, nobody saw this coming. I thought, okay, they'd be in a title race, but they'd fall off. They've been consistent, they've been brilliant, and we have to give them their flowers. We have to give Arne Slot his flowers. We can't just all switch up just because of 2 games. Whether you're a Liverpool fan, a rival fan, you cannot use this as an opportunity to switch up. Nobody saw Arne Slot coming in and winning the Premier League. And I've even saw tweets going around about Liverpool only winning the Premier League. Only winning the most important trophy, the hardest trophy I think in the whole of Europe to win, is the Premier League. With Manchester City, how good they are, with how much money there's been spent in the Premier League. This is the hardest trophy, and Arne Slot is going to win it in his first season. It really shocked me to see the sort of opinions coming out just because Liverpool lost the Carabao Cup final and just because Liverpool got knocked out in the Champions League against a really good PSG team. It's not like PSG are scrubs, by the way. They'd give a run for their money to any team in Europe with that front three. I could not believe it. But anyway, let's get on to the second segment, talking about Tottenham Hotspur. And Ange Postecoglou is under mounting pressure. The situation became even worse when his side were beaten 2-0 by Fulham. It's really not going well for Spurs this season. He's being questioned by pundits. Ange leaving Son, Maddison on the bench. It is not good enough. Tottenham cannot be in the position they are right now. They simply can't. It really, really, really is shocking me. The sort of play I'm seeing from Spurs, the lack of consistency. It's got to be much better. it's got to be much, 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 much better. And I'm sure Tottenham fans can appreciate it. And then I think I've spoke to a couple of them and they're in this position. If you're a Spurs fan and watching this, let me know, are you Ange in or Ange out? But it seems like a lot of Spurs fans are sort of in the middle now. They don't really care what happens. If Ange goes, great. If he stays, okay, let's spend money. Let's give him better squad. It's that sort of situation. And as a fan, that's the worst place to be. And some photos came out about Poch and Levy, apparently. I don't think this is Levy, to be honest. I zoomed in, it didn't look like him, but a lot of Spurs people, Spurs fans, rival fans put this photo on Twitter, talking about Pochettino potentially coming back. I don't think it will happen, but it's just interesting to see that everyone is just actively ready for Ange to be sacked, actively looking around, okay, what's coming out now? Would Spurs accept Poch back in? Let me know down below if you're a Spurs fan or even a neutral fan. Do you see Poch coming in as something that should happen? To be honest, I don't think it's the right move. They need to be moving forwards and going back to Poch. Maybe he could be the start of a new era and all that romantic stuff. But right now, Spurs need to win. And romantic stuff just can't keep happening. And it was romantic at the beginning. But if you're not getting results, if he gets knocked out the Europa League against Frankfurt, it is looking very, very, very dark for Ange Postecoglou. And well, let's have a look at a couple names being thrown into the hat. We've got Andoni Iraola and Marco Silva as the leading candidates or contenders for the Tottenham role if Spurs sack Ange. And I'm a big fan of Andoni Iraola. And I think Marco Silva as well is a fantastic manager. Really, really good. It didn't work out for him at Everton, but at Fulham, the things he's doing, he's got them, I think, 3 or 4 points off Europe. Same with Iraola, to be honest. He only got almost 4 or so points off of Europe as well. That is top stuff, and you've got to give him his flowers, to be honest. Both these managers, their flowers. But yeah, this video I kind of want to just look at Andoni Iraola, in detail. Let's have a listen to this lovely video made by The Athletic talking about Iraola's tactics.
Ask anyone what the secret to Bournemouth's success is, and they'll probably say something about their intense pressing. But is there another explanation? Since Pep Guardiola arrived in England, many of his ideas about football have become commonplace. One of these is that the best way to progress the ball down the field is to use the position of your players to create space, which can then be exploited through 1 or 2 touch passing. But Andoni Iraola, the Bournemouth coach, has suggested there might be downsides to this approach. In a recent interview, he said, "I think when you play too positionally, you sometimes lose the initiative from the players to just take their man on and attack the spaces. If you watch Bournemouth, you'll see that their players often carry the ball in possession, targeting spaces that open up immediately, rather than waiting for teammates to move into them. In fact, no team has carried the ball through an opponent's defensive line more than them this season. And the beauty of this approach is that it pulls apart opponents' defensive structures, opening out even more space to exploit. Of course, it's a risky approach, because creating chaos through ball carrying makes both teams more vulnerable. But it's one that's clearly working well for Bournemouth this season."
So that is Iraola. Basically, he's all about fluidity, pressing, ball carrying, players taking the initiative. Sometimes the game can become a bit too tactical. I feel like Ange with his inverted fullbacks on both sides, it just hasn't really worked structurally. And Spurs have a lot of profiles in the squad which can ball carry. Kulusevski, Udogie, Spence, Maddison can carry the ball, Bissouma can, Sarr can carry the ball, Son can carry the ball. So you're looking at the profiles in the Spurs squad and it would suit the way Iraola wants to play, but would his style work in a Tottenham long term? Because the problem with these sort of systems is it's banking on the games to be end to end. And we know Spurs, some teams just come and sit in a low block, defend well, defend deep, and it can be difficult. And you can't really create chaos from those sort of structures. So I feel like maybe for Spurs, in a way to break low blocks down, Iraola isn't the most experienced and probably the best manager for it. But hey, Ange right now is really struggling. We've seen the performances of Bournemouth this season, and it could potentially make sense. But let me know down below, would you want Spurs, if you're a Spurs fan or not a Spurs fan, to have Iraola? I feel like he would be an interesting addition for sure.